Sai Ram, brothers and sisters. This talk, as he starts from his office, would go on to become an integral part of the yesterday's session. Rather, the culmination, the last revelation of the yesterday's talk, even after the Aham Nirvikalpo, where actually the tables are turned and the disciples, or you can say the participants, are shown a reality which is breathtaking for them, which should be breathtaking for all of you. For those who have attended yesterday's session and are sincerely contemplating on the same. And surprisingly, this revelation part was never given to the earlier group when the Panchadashi session was given in 2011-12, and not even yesterday. This is coming now as he was talking about this session to one of his colleagues who is also regularly attending these sessions. See, what did we learn yesterday? In short, that we were created as an indivisible part of the pure canvas, pure consciousness. But we, as though, this is a very important expression within inverted commas, as though separated ourselves away from the pure consciousness, the Anantam pure consciousness, and identified ourselves as our limited body. Right? And then we went through the process of how through the painting analogy and the movie screen analogy, through the process of mananam and nididhyasanam, how we ultimately go and merge from where we came into that pure consciousness. And this was made clear when he told that now visualize, hitherto you were watching the movie, now imagine that you have gone and you have occupied the screen yourself. Or in the painting analogy, he said, hitherto you were away from the painting and seeing yourself as something away from the pure canvas and identifying yourself with your body, mind, intellect, and also seeing all other human beings in the all other things, nature, and human beings and animals and everything, though you are seeing them on the pure canvas, but because you have identified yourself as a limited identity, you are also seeing them as limited identity and not as the Parabrahman. So he said, you go and merge in that. Then there will be no duality. Right? This was the final conclusion. Now, a wonderful, breathtaking, revelation, not that he is revealing, our Shrutis reveal this. He is somehow, not even he, Swami is giving him some words, some expressions to reach this to you. And now, upon getting this, you will realize that this session could not be complete without this secret. For the Mananam and the Nididhyasanam part, for the contemplation part, Vidyaranya Swami took the analogy, painting analogy, and said how you separated yourself away from the pure consciousness, Anantam Brahman, Anantam consciousness, and you are leading a life of misery in the samsara with the limited body, mind, intellect equipment. Now, you focus on one expression which he used yesterday for explaining about that pure consciousness, Anantam, infinite canvas, to bring about the difference between the canvas used for painting, which will have boundary, which will be limited in its dimension, the length and breadth. He said that the only difference between that and pure consciousness Brahman is that pure consciousness Brahman is infinite, and he said Purnam, Purnam, complete. So, what do we mean by Purnam? That means there are no two Brahman, two infinite pure consciousness, or there is not even something which is opposite to Anantam pure consciousness. That is, out of the boundaryless boundary of the pure consciousness, there is neither another pure consciousness B, or there is not even a finite, limited existence which is opposite to the pure consciousness. So now, for the grand revelation, okay, we said that we have separated ourselves from the pure canvas, pure consciousness, and leading the life of these jivas. But yesterday he also told that this philosophy, this metaphysics, this is all very mystical for contemplation purpose. So come to realize this my dear brothers and sisters. Within inverted commas, bold letters, capital letters, he says, even all the while we were leading this life of incompleteness, life of being away, so called away from the pure consciousness Brahman, the thought that upon a preceptor, a teacher giving you these sessions on the Vedanta, and telling you that we have always been away from that truth, the reality, Brahman. Now we have to retrace and go back and merge and attain realization, right? But come to think of this grand. He doesn't have a more grander expression for this expression grand. Otherwise, he would have used that expression. Let us defy all the English grammar and say grandest, though it is not a proper word. All these births, and especially this birth, because we know all about all our stupidity, all our ignorance in this birth, when somebody comes and teaches us all these truths. All the while we have been made to think, to introspect that मैली चादर ओढ़ के कैसे पास तुम्हारे आऊं. Hmm? So all the while we were thinking, we are put to a deep introspection that we have come so far away from the truth, the reality, Brahman, and what all mistakes we have done and how finite we have become, even while all these thoughts continue to haunt us. Again, the biggest wave, the Acharya wave, comes and tells, hang on. Now I will tell you, I will turn the table and I will give you the grand truth. Your thought that you have drawn yourself away from your real identity, the Atman or the Brahman, it is but your thought. It is but your misconceived notion. It is your misapprehension. Irrespective of what you are, irrespective of what you have done to yourself, irrespective of all the follies, all the mistakes, all the sins, all the adharma you might have committed, due to your ignorance, due to your misapprehension that you are this limited body mind. Realize the truth, Divyatman, that in reality, it is never possible for you to exist as something other than Brahman. Whatever you are, whatever you have done to yourself, you are always that Paripurna Brahman, Atman. consciousness. Why? What is the logic? How the Acharya wave can explain you this? Because we talked about pure consciousness as contrary to the pure canvas used for painting, which will have boundaries, limits. We said pure consciousness is anantam, infinite. Point number A. Pure consciousness is anantam. So, if the pure consciousness, for understanding this grand revelation, if the pure consciousness anantam is taken as pure consciousness A, there cannot be another pure consciousness B, which is other than the pure consciousness A, because then the basic assumption that the pure consciousness A, anantam, infinite, will be defeated. So there cannot be another pure consciousness B. Also, there cannot be an impure, perverted, bad world C apart from the infinite pure consciousness A, because then it will also defeat the understanding of Brahman that it is eternal and it is infinite. So there cannot be an impure world also apart from the pure consciousness A, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Satchit, Ananda, Anantam. Right? That means all the while you have now been put to a deep introspection, that you have separated yourself from that reality, that truth, and you are leading the limited life. But my most dear brothers and sisters, all the while, irrespective of what you have done to yourself, you could have never been existing as something other than the pure consciousness A. Why? Because there is nothing other than the pure consciousness A which exists. So wherever you are, whatever you are always, you were and you are always, and you will continue to be always the pure Atman. So now the entire Panchadashi session, the entire understanding, realizing that we are away, we have drawn ourselves away, and need for, as per Acharya's pour yesterday, or Mr. Satya's pour yesterday, if you don't want to call him as Acharya, Satyamurti's satsang yesterday, since you have misunderstood that you have drawn yourself away from the infinite pure consciousness, so to erase, to clear that misunderstanding, you have to maybe through Nididhyasana, mystically, you have to go back and merge yourself and sit in as the pure consciousness. But in reality, if you come out of that misconception, misunderstanding for a minute, because he is asking you, he is requesting you, pleading you to come out of it and be with him in this clarity, all the while you were never ever wrong. You were never ever a limited being. You were never ever away from that infinite consciousness, because wherever you are, whatever you have done, you are bound to be within the infinite Anantam pure consciousness only. Because apart from that, there is neither an alternative be pure consciousness or an alternative impure world C. You were always pure, otherwise, why would Swami address all of us as Pavitratman or Divya? Now he will share with you one more thing. Not to compare himself with Swami or not to draw an equal level with Swami, but it is about the vision he is telling. Swami, Paripurna, Paramatma, Parabrahman. Not to compare, don't try to misunderstand him. The vision of Swami and the vision of him, when he looks at all of you, when he is interacting with all of you, even while you all or some of you address him as Guruji, even while you share with him your incompleteness, your misery, your sorrow, your issues, your problems, your inability to continue with sadhana, blah, 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 etc., etc. Even while he is trying to resolve all your issues, even while so-called teaching all of you, even while pouring incessantly, from that vision, that his vision, undoubtedly, have no doubts about this. He sees you, he experiences all of you as that pure consciousness, Atman, Brahman. 100%. If there is an iota of untruth in whatever he is seeing, Swami should make him dumb and deaf at this moment, right now. Irrespective of your limitations, he knows what you were, and finally, when that in one birth, in one at one time, when you attain self-realization, what you will realize that, oh, I have, I am the substratum, or I am that pure infinite consciousness. When at the moment of self-realization, whatever you will experience yourself to be, know and be aware that he experiences all of you only as that. And for those of you who experience his love, his compassion, now be very clear. His love, his boundless compassion is an spontaneous, incessant, automatic flow ever in the realization, in the experience that you are that pure, 100% pure, 24 karat gold, pure Atman. You are all divine self. Now imagine how Swami, he has told umpteen number of times, he has quoted this, how Swami would see all of us seated with various levels of purity or various levels of impurity. For him, we are all divine. That is why he has taken up the weapon of love to conquer us. And he has not taken up any other weapon to punish us. Here is an incarnation who never punishes. even if we commit mistakes 1,000 times. Because now come to the logic, because he experiences that same divinity in all of us. At the end, when the person watching the movie goes and occupies the place in the screen, when a person viewing the painting goes and occupies a portion in the pure canvas, a jiva who has been tortured and tormented in the samsara ultimately goes and merges with Brahman, attains self-realization. At that time, he or she is bound to dance in supreme ecstasy. I have always been this. So, my dear brothers and sisters, know and realize and be aware of one thing. Even while you extend your prostrations, even while you regard him as Guruji, or even if you regard him truthfully or not, because others are addressing him as Guruji, also address him as Guruji, or you express your gratitude to him, you express that he is teaching you the supreme truth. Now, every time you write or address him as Guruji, invisibly you feel that in return, he is also prostrating at your feet. You are conscious about your limited identity. He can never ever consider you as the limited identity. You are from the first birth till now, until the moment you attain realization, and even thereafter, you are, you were, you will ever exist as 100% pure Atman, pure consciousness. That is why in the Guru Shishya Parampara, when both of them sit and invoke the supreme power and say, chant Sahana Vavatu, there is never a guru at a very higher platform. There is never a Shishya at a very lower platform. There is never a guru looking down upon the Shishya as something lesser than him. Since he knows that here is the Parabrahman seated before me with a limited body, in the Guru Shishya Parampara, the Guru might scold, the Guru might box the ears of the Shishya, he could be rude to the Shishya, but internally there is always this reverence for the disciple. Why? Because he knows just as clearly as he can see the rekhas, the fingerprints, the hand rays, as clearly he can see through and he can experience the purity, the divinity in the Shishyas also. This is the grandeur, this is the glory of the Guru Shishya Parampara in our Bharat. This will require a lot of contemplation, and it elevates you to a level beyond your imagination that, okay, the one whom I trust, he has given me this 100%, he has given, clarified to me that I am always pure. Aham Brahmasmi. So, with that, let me march. Let me march ahead. with his guidance till the time I attain realization. Once you attain, then there is neither guru nor shishya. The car gets parked at his residence. With blessings equally with reverence. And for others who do not seek his blessings, then reverence is there for sure. And best wishes. Hari Om Tat Sat.